Hi, welcome back to Mike's Diabetes World. Okay, so it's not a great day. Got up to 10.4, but had a little bit of glucagon, and we spiked right up. I'm calibrated, and if we move it along, I was 99%. I haven't had in the last 24 hours, haven't had any lows below 3.9, but above I'm 10. So that 10.4 just really kind of knocked me up. So that's where I stand so far. Today I want to discuss with you standards of care. How do you rate what care you're receiving or expect? And you can say, oh yes, I know it all. It's all up here. But I have a question to ask for you. If it's all up here, how do you answer to yourself? How can you rate how well you're actually doing? Am I actually following what the doctors have made suggestions? Because everyone says, oh, I tried that. It didn't work for me. But are you really trying? Are you holding yourself to a standard? Now, any medical professional, where they work or if they're in business for themselves, will have a level of care. And that is called standard care. And if you don't live up to that, your patient could pass on. It's the same with us. You don't take your insulin, you could cause harm. Or if you take too much insulin, it could cause you harm. You don't want to do that. So, I've talked to you before about your plan, your diabetes plan to speak over with your doctor. Standard of care is how you're going to implement that. You may have your doctor's orders, but in the standard of care, it's going to say, okay, I'm going to rise at such time, I'm going to eat, I'm going to take my breakfast or wake up, take my insulin, eat once a week, 2 hours after I eat lunch, I do a blood test, whatever it is. But you can say to your doctor with conviction, this is what I've done, this is how I live my life. If you go to your doctor and they ask, well, how's the new regime going? Yeah, I've done it. Doesn't really bode well as an answer. You need to be alert and you need to understand how you could come up with a certain number. So often, we don't want to put in the extra work. Now, you as diabetics or parents of diabetics, husband or wife, already know how much extra you have to put in. So now, you're going to have to go further. In their standard of care, you're going to say throughout the day, I'm going to check blood sugars every 4 to 10 minutes. Yeah, you don't want to do that much, but at least 4 times in the morning. Nowadays, it's just a simple look, okay? And you can continue on your way. But that doesn't mean that you should be building flexibility into your plans. It may be great to say, okay, I take breakfast, I've done my shot, I've taken breakfast, I've gone to work, I've checked it 4 times, and then someone says, hey, do you want to go out for lunch? You could say, oh no, I can't, I'm on special. That's not really life. So, build into your plan ways, or not plan, your standard of care, that things like that could happen. What happens if you're going out to dinner? Now, years ago, we talked a bit about if you went out to eat, you would have, they suggested switching your snack and your meal so that your blood sugars wouldn't drop and you wouldn't go skyrocketing. Well, nowadays, with the pump, some of us don't even need to worry about having a snack at night. You could, if you're hungry, like myself, I do, because during the night if you get hungry. It's also make sure that my blood sugar doesn't go super low. It can come down, but I can tell you, the way we're getting now is things are looking good. I will sleep, and I don't have to worry about waking up with a super high blood sugar. Don't be so paranoid about it. You can do so much more day to day. Standard of care is a guideline. Now, in it, let's say you do a blood test, and your blood tests usually fall in a normal range. What happens if it doesn't fall into normal range? For one blood sugar, do you leave it? Do you take extra insulin? That sort of thing should be in your standard of care. Eventually, you could get it up here. But I think to begin, you should be answering the questions. What is the standard of care? What am I doing to ensure that I have care that is meeting the expectations of the plan the doctor and I set out? You could take a look at it with your doctor or your nurse and come up with a suitable plan does the standard of care meet your goals set out by your doctor's orders or the care plan you have come up with? I've seen on there some people have said, if the doctor gives me a new blood test, I get it done right after. Unless it's the last thing on the day and all the other places are closed, but I'd go and get it done right away. That's my standard of care. Before I go to my doctor, I will go and get all the blood work needed. And for example, I'm going in February to see my endo. I'm going to have to try to get blood work done before so that he can see how the care is going. You'd be surprised how much easier. And if you need to refer to your doctor's plan and the standards of care. So think of your doctor's plan as this is what you need to achieve. Standard of care is how you're going to achieve. So that when you go to the doctor, you can say, okay, here, this is what I've done. This is working. This isn't working. What are we going to do about it? As opposed to you being on the hot seat and saying, or have him say, so how are things going? What's your test been like? Yes, I see you're high. Why is that? If you go in prepared, you will have a much better time at the doctor's. And believe it or not, the doctors can become less stressful. I had a standard of care at one time, which was a whole friggin' binder. And this binder had sheets that were laminated, and I was writing down my blood sugar each and every time. And I had parts of the log where I'd reflect on blood sugars, and it was wonderful. Now, the pump does a lot of that, but still how you're going to care. That's all it is. How you're going to implement your doctor's plan. And this becomes your standard of care. Steps that you're living up to. And if you find you can't live up to them, speak with your doctor and say, well, I tried to implement this at this time, and maybe he or she can come up with suggestions. Don't be, oh, this isn't working, that's garbage. You have to give it a try. You have to give it an honest try before you start coming up with these sayings that, oh, it's not working. And with that, I hope you're having a great day, and we'll talk again soon. If you enjoyed the video, please consider subscribing. Thank you. My email is mikesdiabetesworld@gmail.com. mikesdiabetesworld@gmail.com.